ลง
let's
ไปลง
let's go and edit it.
Yeah I will across the various platforms, NBC Radio, VC3 Television, the Agency for Public Information across the platforms of television as well, channel 114, 116 with us this afternoon. And we welcome you to this live event. It is the grand opening of Rainforest Seafoods processing plant in Caliacor. There's been a build-up to this event, and this afternoon, despite the rain and all that's happening, we're here and we're coming to you live, and we expect things to get moving shortly with the ceremony. But before we get into that, I have joining me on the broadcast this afternoon the Director of the Agency for Public Information, Mr. Sean Rose. Good afternoon, welcome to the broadcast.
Good afternoon to you, Colville, and good afternoon to all our viewers and listeners. Certainly a pleasure being here. Today is a great day. It's a very important day for the fisher folk. And not even the rain could stop this opening today. So we have to give kudos to the Rainforest team for insisting that the opening will proceed despite the inclement weather.
And we're getting rain, and rain is synonymous with a rainforest.
Yes.
Not sure if that was the way it was supposed to be, but yes. Rain is what we're having this afternoon. What has transpired just a few minutes ago was the actual tour of the facility that was being done with the Honorable Prime Minister who arrived here
still in progress,
actually still in progress. Yeah. And some other officials, local media, visited media as well, getting a closer look as to what the operations are like inside. Of course, the numbers going in there, it's quite limited because of the sanitary reasons and all of that. You can't have too many in there at any given time. But we've had some glimpses of what inside looks like so far. We should be able to get some more footage momentarily once our connection allows as to what is happening in there. But the excitement is certainly building despite the rain and what's happening.
What I find interesting, Colville, as we saw moments ago and you alluded to it, the arrival of the visiting party from Jamaica, Honorable Minister of Agriculture from Jamaica, Cornel Charles Jr., and the media team from the Jamaica Observer newspaper. Of course, they have a converged platform, so I'm sure they have some folks there from their radio and television units as well. Coming here to St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the opening of this particular facility. It tells you what it means to the Rainforest team. And we do know, and we can share, that the Rainforest is in 4 other CARICOM countries. Barbados, Jamaica, of course, Belize, and St. Lucia. So clearly, Rainforest is up to big things across the region.
Yes, and this is big. It's $10 million worth of investment, and that has been, since 2019 when this agreement was signed. And I'm not sure if you recall when it was signed at the
in April. Yes, that's right.
In April 10th of 2019, and there's been some, COVID was right in the middle of things. Some deadlines had to be shifted because of all of that. But we're here today, and in 2022 we're witnessing the
official opening because they have been already processing and exporting, so they are pretty much off and running.
Yes.
So today's official opening is more or less a formality.
Yes, and it's a formality. In March of this year, actually, there was a test shipment that was made. A 20-foot container was sent off, packed with goodies, the conch and all of that. And that was a successful venture. And that meant that, it was a go. It was a green light for things to progress into the stage that we are right now. We've been drawn out by the steel band in the back, as a matter of fact. Some lovely steel band music from the community. Epic Sounds, I believe, is here. And they're making sure that those who are coming in are properly entertained. I see when the Honourable Minister arrived that there was a bit of a cheer.
That's right.
And a special greeting offered to him as he entered the venue. But the expectations are for a smooth flow, hopefully, once we get going with the ceremonial aspect.
We have a packed program.
Yes, we do. And we have with us the CEO of Rainforest Foods, based in Jamaica, of course. And he arrived here about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago.
Yes, Brian Jardim.
Yes, Brian Jardim, and he's been, having a chat with some of the officials, meeting some members of the media and other officials from the ministry. And the excitement is certainly building for this facility.
One person I know is certainly excited, among others, of course, the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Sabuto Caesar. And he was among that greeting party with Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who is also clearly very elated to see the official opening of this facility today. And it was good to see Colonel Charles Jr. arriving. You know, his father was Minister of Tourism in Jamaica for a number of years. So there seems to be some continuity there in politics in that particular family in Jamaica. Yes. And we go down the line as we hear the sound system.
And they're really striking up behind us now.
The sound.
They're really beefing up the sound. So maybe we should just take in a few minutes of the pan music.
Good
Let's
idea.
enjoy a bit of it. Let's take in a bit of the pan. The sweet sound of Epic Sound Steel Orchestra, and what a beautiful rendition. Well, two marvelous renditions there by Epic Sound Steel Orchestra, and what a way to set the stage for such an event.
And from the looks of the faces I see there, I can tell that they are homegrown.
Yes.
I see JP and others who I know from the Calico area and neighboring communities. But this is certainly an epic event.
It is.
It's fitting
an epic occasion.
Steel Orchestra playing here.
But just in case you're joining us, you're not missing any of the ceremonial aspects. We expect the ceremony to get going in just a few minutes. We have some beautiful pan music in the back, which we're enjoying. But this is coming your way live on the National Broadcasting Corporation, NBC Radio, VC3 Television, also on channel 114.
Yeah, 116.
116. Yes. We just added that to our lineup.
Is live and
API channel live and direct
at the moment.
Yes. Yep. So check out 116. Going forward, you'll see a lot more happening on 116.
Very, very soon we should have it running 24/7.
24/7.
Our able technical team says, and we are working on that to make sure that we deliver that.
So we have two channels on cable television coming your way, 114 and 116. We can't forget those who are online as well, those who are viewing us by way of the Facebook pages of
NBC Radio,
VC3, in API, and all of the platforms with us. We say, wherever you are, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Yes.
And
feel free to share.
Yes, share.
Alert your neighbors, your friends, let them know this epic historic activity is taking place at the moment here, right in Calico, next to the Coast Guard base. And I saw a contingent from the SVG Coast Guard in the audience as well, along with a number of local business and government public sector officials. So certainly an event that many people recognize as an important one.
Yes, and we expect a number of important remarks and speeches here this afternoon. Yes. We have remarks from the Honorable Minister of Agriculture as one, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture in Jamaica, who's also here with us, we mentioned earlier, and also the Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, who is responsible for this constituency and has been backing this project. If we go back to all of the various news articles that we've seen over the years since this project was signed in 2019, you see all of the push being done by the minister. And the keynote speaker here this afternoon, our Honorable Prime Minister, who we expect to deliver a very comprehensive presentation as per usual.
Precisely, and I'm pretty sure that given the fact that Rainforest, they have invested over 10 million EC dollars, 10 million in this particular facility, a 25,000 square foot facility, that it means a lot to the leader of government, to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves.
Yes, and the fact that you can bring and incorporate the amount of fisher folk involved in this process. I had a word with the minister just before we started, and he was reminding me that an estimated $20 million worth of productivity will happen between the fisher folk selling their seafood to this company that's here, employing 80 individuals.
Yes.
I mean, you.
And if anyone is wondering, is that achievable already? As we see some traffic there, as
of course,
folks move around and share some of the goodies.
From time to time, we see them popping into a frame.
Yes. But already we've seen in excess of $3 million in purchases by Rainforest Seafood. So the local fisher folk are benefiting already.
Yes.
By having this particular processing facility here. In fact, one of the officials told me when I asked about the relationship with the local fisher folk and this particular company, he said, look, that has exceeded expectations. It's beyond what they expected, the relationship with Rainforest Seafood and the local fisher folk.
Yes, and we're looking at 250,000 pounds. Yes, I want to make sure I get that correct. 250,000 pounds of cold storage, blast freezers, processing rooms, along with state-of-the-art equipment for at-source retail packaging.
Yes.
So everything is packaged here before it's sent out to the world market.
And we're talking frozen lobster, we're talking conch, even cucumbers, sea cucumbers. Huh?
Yes.
I'm not sure if you've
never tried
had some of that before, and a wide range of fin fish and so forth. So I'm pretty sure that as this facility grows, as the demand for the product from St. Vincent and the Grenadines increases, we're likely to see increased purchases, if not expansion. in one respect or the other.
And they're already reaching 30 countries. So imagine the prospects of the products from our shores ending up on supermarket shelves, and in restaurants, in hotels, in 30 different countries. And to think of our products being represented on such a large scale, I mean, it's mind-blowing to know that what is being done by our fisher folk is reaching across the globe pretty much through the work of Rainforest and Vincent and the Grenadines.
And you know, with the U.S. being a prime target market for seafood, and we are pretty much 4 hours away from the Miami, Florida area, it's quite natural that a lot of the product would move from here directly via the Argyle International Airport. And that's a point Minister of Agriculture, Sabuta Caesar, makes so very often. And certainly Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves reinforces that had it not been for that particular facility, the Argyle International Airport, it would have been more difficult to have a company like Rainforest Seafood and many others considering St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a place to invest.
And it must be worth $10 million to put an investment of that amount into this particular location. I mean, there are establishments in Belize, they're in St. Lucia, they're in Antigua, they have other establishments beside what is here. But to have the confidence that they can get the supply that they need, because of course it has to be backed by your supply chain. You can't put such a facility if you don't have the sort of supply chain that would be able to keep up with your demand and to be able to expose that, that product that we have for wider market.
Agreed. Already we are hearing that in addition to our local fisher folk bringing their catch to Rainforest Seafood, that fisher folk from Grenada and other islands, they are bringing their catch here as well. So it's important that fisher folk here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines take advantage of this facility, take advantage of the fact that you can sell practically everything that you catch here if that's what you want to do. And that doesn't cut into the local market either. That has been assured given the way they have planned to operate and they are already operating.
Yes, and we must emphasize the size of this facility.
Yes.
It's 25,000 square feet of operational space that we have here, and 90 employees, going non-stop, doing packaging, cleaning, all of the products coming out, churning out on a daily basis, and that is what it will look like going forward as the full production ramps up.
So they move from 80 to 90 going up, and that number is likely to increase as time progresses.
Because the last figure we actually had was 80, and now we're told that it's 90. And as a matter of fact, that has also changed on the regional landscape, because when we got the initial figures, we were told it's 850 regional employees. It's now to 900 regional employees. So the size, the sheer magnitude of Rainforest is mind-boggling.
Again, the market is huge, not just in the Caribbean and not just for facilities and restaurants and hotels associated with this particular company, but beyond the corridors of the Caribbean, we look into the U.S. market, huge market, I can tell you, for seafood. And I'm pretty sure that many people who might have been skeptics can now say they are happy that the facility is there. So fisher folk can have a guaranteed outlet for the sale of their catch.
And I'm glad you mentioned the fisher folk, because they're the ones who would benefit quite extensively from this operation here. Now have a ready market, a competitive market for them to sell their catch to. And what sort of effect do you think that would have on the supply chain in terms of, more and more fishers coming on board and supplying their products and increasing the output overall of this facility?
Exactly. Now, while we are here, we know that the blue economy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is expanding, and certainly there are other players in the market. But because today it's raining rainforest, literally, we are placing emphasis on what this particular company has brought to the blue economy platform. platform here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So I don't
Yes.
want anyone to feel that we are leaving others out.
no.
We're not.
Of course, it's a massive project, and we
Yes.
have to highlight the level
That's
of
right.
the contribution. Mind you, there are others in this line of business who are also making their
Yes,
individual
yes,
contributions.
yes.
And we won't want to downplay that, because they too would have their individual markets, their individual
Agreed.
suppliers, etc.
Yes, yes.
But this all adds to the overall benefit,
Yes.
of our fisher folk. So can't beat that.
And another wonderful rendition by
Yes.
the Epic Steel Orchestra, and
Would that be their final rendition? I believe they'll have another one, because
Maybe,
we're not
because-
quite finished with the tours yet, I suspect. But the tour is ongoing, and we continue to come live across the various platforms. We welcome you if you're watching by way of 114, channel 114, channel 116, the brand new, potentially 24-hour API channel that's getting its first taste of broadcast today
Live
on this live
broadcast,
occasion, outside of Parliament, because
That's
we've
right.
had Parliament there before. But yes, and we hope that you're able to get us crystal clear wherever you are viewing. Those who are listening on the platforms, NBC Radio, I'm not sure, there might be other stations joining us. We'll
possibly.
confirm that in a bit.
VC3.
But of course, we can't forget the
Yes.
online platforms.
Uh-huh.
We can't forget
That's right.
NBC Radio, VC3 Television, and the pages
AP.
of API. And wherever else you might be
Yes.
watching us, maybe shared across to someone's page,
Yes.
and you're looking at it through that share. We welcome you wherever you are.
Certainly a pleasure.
Taking a bit more of the pan music,
Yes,
some
let's
lovely
do that.
pan music in the back here.
Another epic rendition.
Yes,
by
Epic Sounds.
this skillful group of pan players from the Epic Steel Orchestra.
Yes.
Homegrown,
Homegrown.
local folk, right here in Calico and surrounding areas.
And the rain has subsided. I believe it's a good opportunity to get started.
We have a window.
Hopefully,
Yes,
we have a window. Yes, I like that term. We have a window. We have a window of opportunity to get started. But because they're not ready, we have more music here. But in case you're just joining us, don't worry. We are on location and we're getting ready to bring you everything as it happens here at Calico. We are the brand new, when I say brand new, it's been here a while.
Yes.
But officially
Relatively, yeah.
Right. Officially being open today, the Rainforest seafood processing plant in Calico, and every now and then you see one of the
We did warn you of the traffic.
yeah, we
Expect
did
the traffic.
tell you that
There
would
will be
happen
some
from time to time.
movers of
Yeah.
delightful goodies from the caterers. We're not sure who's catering yet.
Unfortunately, we can't partake right now
Yes.
because we have our duties here. But the lovely music, the lovely band continues to ring out here in Calico, and this is an invitation for everyone in the surrounding area, to come out
Yes.
and be a part of this grand celebration
Yes.
here.
Think we should return to pan side
Yes,
again?
more pan music.
It's been raining, some beautiful pan music here at the Rainforest Seafood Facility in Calaqua. And as we continue to make these transitions, we should let you know that we are bringing you live coverage of the official opening of the Rainforest Seafood Facility in Calaqua, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And certainly, Colville, as we bring this coverage live across Channel 114, Channel 116, the VC3, the NBC Radio, and the API Facebook pages and platforms, we're pretty confident that a number of people are enjoying and hopefully consuming this information and enjoying the experience.
And thus far, some sweet pan music, and I can't get better than this.
Yes.
For a ceremony and for this occasion, it's a celebration of an event that we've been waiting for a few years, I should say a couple of years, because the timeline was about 18 months for the completion of this facility. But of course, other things had to happen, and then the COVID pandemic. So there are factors that played into us being here today and not last year or earlier this year. But the fact is that we're getting going today with the official opening. Once again, we have the pan joining us out in the back, and it's always good to get the pan music resonating. And I think it's, you know, for us to talk over the pan music will detract from the beautiful music that we're hearing in the back. So until they get ready to us, some more sweet pan. Stay with us.
Officials, they're taking their places on stage, and we are getting ready for the official start of the speeches aspect of today's proceedings.
Yes, and I see that the head table is now complete. The CEO of Rainforest Seafoods is seated at the head table. So too is the Honorable Prime Minister seated there. And in addition to that, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries of Jamaica also seated at the head table. The ceremony this afternoon being chaired by the General Manager of the National Broadcasting Corporation, Ms. Dion John. So here we go with the official start of the ceremony at Calaqua. Stay with us.
Epic Sound Field Orchestra, and you'll hear a lot more from them as we go through this afternoon. Want to invite you to stand as we begin our proceedings formally here this afternoon. And we will begin with the opening prayer, which will be done by Bishop Sonny Williams, after which I'll ask you to remain standing for the national anthem of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which will be played by the National Properties Limited Epic Sound Steel Orchestra.
The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and those who dwell therein. Every beast of the forest is mine, the cattle on 1,000 hills. Except the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keeps the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. May the favor of the Lord our God rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for you. Yes, establish the work of our hands. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Lord, we begin this opening with a recognition of your sovereignty. You are the God, and you have the end of the matter. We ask you today, as we celebrate this day, we give you thanks, O God, for your goodness. For this is the day that we celebrate industry. This is the day that we celebrate fisheries. This is the day that we celebrate integration. This is the day we celebrate a business. We celebrate employment. We thank you, O Father, for this business, Rainforest. And we thank you, Father, for sending them to our shores. We thank you for the investments. And we ask, Father, for your blessings upon this investment. We ask you, Father, that this industry will spawn other industries in our fishery. May this inspire our fisher folks. May this inspire other related industries. May this, Lord God, provide employment for our people. May this provide wealth to investors and wealth to our people. We ask that your hands will prosper this industry. And we ask, O Lord God, that our people will benefit from this. We give you thanks today, Lord, and we thank you for holding the weather. And we ask, O Lord God, that this ceremony will be to your honor and to your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Her Excellency Dame Susan Duggan, Governor General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Dr. the Honorable Ralph E. Gonsalves, Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Honorable Montgomery Daniel, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport Works, Lands and Physical Planning. The Honorable Subutu Caesar, Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation and Labor. The Honorable Camila Gonsalves and Mrs. Gonsalves, Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Information Technology and Parliamentary Representative for the East St. George constituency. Other members of Cabinet of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Honorable Pernell Charles Jr., Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Jamaica. Mr. Brian Jardim, CD, and Mrs. Jardim, CEO, Rainforest Caribbean. Visiting dignitaries, other senior executives of Rainforest Caribbean, senior public servants, members of the business community and other stakeholders, specially invited guests, representatives of media houses, both local, and I understand we had representation from Jamaica as well. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers on VC3 114 and the API 116, listeners of the National Broadcasting Corporation, and wherever this broadcast is being heard this afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the grand opening of Rainforest Seafood Processing Plant, located in the town of Caliaqua in the East St. George constituency. We extend a very warm welcome to all those who have come from the land of wood and water, CEO Jardim and family, Minister Charles and others. Rainforest Caribbean is the region's leading processor and a supplier of premium quality seafood and other frozen products. This day, I am sure, is one that all of us gathered here today, but in particular, Rainforest Caribbean, the fishing community and the people of Caliaqua have been looking forward to since its construction. And now it's the blue building which welcomes you to our town. Caliaqua, put your hands together. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, we have the grand opening today, and we have a very packed program in store for you. So sit down, feel comfortable, relax. There's a lot in store, and I guarantee you, you're going to enjoy every moment of it. To do the official welcome this afternoon, Brian Jardim is the visionary leader and the architect of one of the leading food companies in the Caribbean, Rainforest Caribbean. What started as Brian brokering a few containers of seafood to service the Jamaica hotel industry has gone into a multinational food company with operations in Jamaica, Belize, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Barbados. Today, Rainforest manufactures and supplies a wide range of quality food products and exports to over 30 countries across the world. Rainforest is truly a Caribbean company with a global reach. Rainforest company employs over 1,000 team members across the region, over 100 of whom work in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Put your hands together, that's good. Brian continues to lead Rainforest Caribbean on a path of growth with the assistance of his sons Maxwell, Benjamin, and Zachary, all of whom play integral roles in the business and are focused on expanding the company's footprints in fishing, farming, and manufacturing. Let us welcome, to do the official welcome, Mr. Brian Jardim, CEO, Rainforest Caribbean.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Good to be here, all the way in from Jamaica. I wish I could say we brought the weather. Not taking responsibility. Lovely to have you all here with us today. All protocol observed, thank you. And what I'd love to start out by saying is that on behalf of our Rainforest Caribbean family, I'd love to extend our deepest appreciation to every one of you for making the time to be out here today with us, braving the weather, and to give you a little trip down memory lane of how this day began. We started this journey in 2016. We came here on an exploratory trip, and the wonderful Minister Sabota Caesar, seated beside us here, took myself, Bethany Young, our marketing director, and my son Max and I out on a little pirogue out from Canawan to Union to show us the amazing resource of this fishery. It turned out to be quite an adventure. We were on Tiger's infamous little fishing boat, and some big waves, stormy seas caught us on the way back from Union to Canawan, and Minister Sabi and I hugged and prayed and hugged again, and we made it. We kissed the beach when we landed. It was a close one. But so began our SVG, as we call it, sojourn, and it really was, we knew we were going to make this a part of our lives, for sure. It was quite an outing and quite a baptism. 6 years later, the vision is a reality. This is affectionately called Big Blue. That's our name for it, and the neighborhood, I gather, has adopted it. And it's my distinct pleasure to introduce Rainforest Caribbean's 25,000 square foot world-class seafood processing facility, Big Blue. This state-of-the-art plant is equipped to efficiently process a wide variety of species to the highest global standards. Finfish, lobster, conch, pelagics, seaweed. The possibilities within these walls, within this more than a half an acre of real estate are endless. The facility features 250,000 pounds of cold storage, blast freezers, processing rooms, best-in-class cold chain, along with cutting-edge equipment that will allow at-source retail packaging and will ensure that product presentations appeal to various international markets and customers. With our significant capacity to store, process, value add, and package, this is undoubtedly the largest and most advanced seafood processing facility anywhere in the Eastern Caribbean, and something we can all be very proud of. We're committed to partnering with fisherfolk and are confident that these partnerships, in combination with our landmark facility, will put St. Vincent on the map as a global player, a game changer, with the ability to supply highest quality seafood products to any market across the world, and make Rainforest St. Vincent the preferred destination for Vinci fishermen to sell their catch. EU certification of the SVG fishery is one of the critical hurdles for us, and country certification is actively a work in progress at the government level. This will open up another world of possibilities and lucrative untapped markets that we currently ship to from our other plants around the Caribbean. So that's just one more opportunity for growth that we see out of this facility. Sustainability is at the core of everything we do, and we will support fishing practices to ensure the longevity of St. Vincent and the Grenadines' marine resources. Healthy oceans are healthy profits has been our company mantra from the day we began, and this will be adhered here more than anywhere else. I'd like to recognize the phenomenal dream team who work inside Big Blue and make her tick. Our tireless country manager, Stephen Seymour. Stephen has been here night and day. I don't think he's taken a weekend off, and has seen it come from the ground up, and he has been magnificent in every aspect. Stewarding his team, Lanique, Dahlia, Pop, Kenneth, Kalisha, and their entire team of processors and cutters and further processing teams. I'd like to mention my son, Ben, who conceptualized and was integral in the layout and procurement of every aspect of this wonderful facility. Ben built our plant in Belize, is working on a second plant there now. Built our plant in Jamaica. A recent warehouse depot that we've opened in St. Lucia, a new one being built in Barbados. This is his thing, and he does, everyone gets better and better. And then thanks to everyone's giant effort, we opened Big Blue in January of this year. We had a little hiccup with COVID. We had a few months where we were at a standstill. However, it's already exceeded our expectations. 80 Vincentians work here full-time, and more when we have extra flows of product. And they have demonstrated that legendary Vinci work ethic and positive attitude that is second to none, that we had heard about, and we're very pleased to say that it really does exist. Our St. Vincent team are world beaters, and we can't wait to show the world what we have in store from their hands. This vision that started on Tiger's Pirogue 6 years ago is finally a reality. And I'd like to thank some of the people who have helped us to make that vision a reality. Prime Minister Gonzalez, Minister Gonzalez, Minister Caesar, our Day One Foundation, the Fisheries Division, Invest St. Vincent, among so many others. Thank you again for welcoming us so warmly and supporting us so completely. Our sincerest gratitude to each and every one of you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jardim. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, has been at the forefront of encouraging the local fishing community to make use of the opportunities created by the government to enhance the production of fish and fish products to sell to Rainforest Seafoods. To tell us more about this, please join me in welcoming to address you this afternoon the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Rural Transformation and Labor, the Honorable Sabutu Caesar.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Her Excellency, the Governor General, Dame Susan Duggan, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Minister of Finance and Area Representative, parliamentary colleagues, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr., the Government of Jamaica, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Brian Jardim, the CEO of Rainforest Seafoods, and his technical and administrative staff, technicians from St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Jamaica. And I want to recognize the Chief Fisheries Officer of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who's here with us this afternoon. Stakeholders, fishers, media, all. It is definitely a blessed afternoon, and I stand here as a proud Minister of Fisheries in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the OECS and CARICOM. 6 years ago, when we decided to go to the southern Grenadines, we had a brief meeting with the Honorable Prime Minister, and we took a short flight down to Canawan. On getting to Canawan, we walked to the beach, and 2 days before that, I asked someone to organize a boat for me. But I didn't ask them to send a picture of the boat. And when I saw the boat, not more than 10 feet in length, Brian looked at me, he said, "Where is the boat?" And I said, "This is the boat." Of course, it took every ounce of bravery in me, coming from an agriculture community who I know very well of growing yams, Dashin, Tanya, and Edos, to convince Brian to get into the boat. Well, we started going. And the weather wasn't nice. And Brian started to pray. But it wasn't the sinner's prayer. It was the Our Father prayer. And I remember coming back to Kanawan, we made a vow on the beach. We said to each other, we can't come so far by faith and not pursue this project to the end. Today is a day of celebration because it took hard work and dedication to turn this dream into a reality. It is also a very important moment for reflection because in all things we must give thanks to Almighty God from whom all blessings continue to flow. And by way of reflection, we can all remember that speech that the Honorable Prime Minister gave at the opening of the Argyle International Airport when he said, build it and they will come. And some persons there were of the view that he was only speaking to the airlines, he was only speaking to passengers from New York and from London, and from Miami, and from Montreal and Toronto. But we have seen, we have witnessed, and we are realizing that he was also speaking to investors. And I want to welcome Rainforest Seafoods to St. Vincent and the Grenadines again and thank them for their excellent work. So we celebrate, we reflect, but we must also prepare. And it is my job, it is the job of the Permanent Secretary who is here, the Chief Fisheries Officer, all the technicians here in my ministry, to put together the framework for fisheries to excel in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are going to see unfold in this country the largest fleet expansion program ever in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Over the next few weeks we are going to start, and this is going to be rolled out over the next few years. And I want to thank the Kingston Cooperative Credit Union for their solidarity in working with the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and with stakeholders. Quite recently, we signed a memorandum of understanding, and over 90 fishers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have already applied and will be approved very soon to put fish not only in local dishes, but in dishes across the world. Recently, in the Oceans Conference held by the United Nations in Lisbon, I had the opportunity to share the stage with the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. as we discussed important issues of sustainability. And I know that the housewife in Sanssouci, the housewife in Lauders, the housewife in Kialekwa, sometimes they ask the question, so if we put so much of our marine resources in these facilities, will we have enough for ourselves? And I want to say this to all Vincentians, that we are going to ensure that there are sustainable measures put in place to protect and to ensure food security and food sovereignty in this country. Under our watch, fish should always be affordable, accessible, and available. This started, of course, with a clear expression of a political will. But the political will alone and the discussions at Cabinet alone cannot bring dreams to reality. The legislative framework had to be put in place. And before the end of this year, we are going to see through the Parliament of our country a modern Fisheries Act. We continue to work to ensure that we follow international standards, and quite recently we received technical support so that we can be up to date with our port state measures, regulations. We have hired international legal advisors, and very soon we are going to see the removal of the red card so we can export again to the European Union. The political will, the legislative and jurisprudential framework, but we have to bring the factors of production together. We have excellent landscape and seascape in our country. We saw this afternoon hard-working, well-trained workers, and again, we thank Rainforest Seafoods and all other investors in the fisheries sector in our country for bringing the needed capital. We continue to advance this sector, and I am asking all stakeholders to continue in the excellent partnership that we have started. I look forward for great things from Rainforest Seafood. Let us continue the solidarity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Caesar. Well, you can definitely tell that something big is happening at Caliacor. Something big is happening at the Blue Building in Caliacor. And how do we know that? Because guess what? We have the Minister of Agriculture from St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Minister of Agriculture from Jamaica, both of them on one stage, speaking back to back at this afternoon's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite to speak to us this afternoon the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries in the land of wood and water, Jamaica, the Honorable Pernell Charles, Jr. Please welcome him.
Thank you so much for the wonderful welcome. It is a pleasure to be here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. And as Brian said, I don't know that we brought this weather, but I don't mind it. Because in Jamaica, we'd say that this is showers of blessings. The Jamaicans understand what I mean. I'll leave that one alone. Excellency, Governor General, Prime Minister, who I feel is not just for St. Vincent, we'll take him to Jamaica as well. He's a Caribbean icon, and it's always a pleasure to be in your presence, Prime Minister Gonzalez. My good friend, Camilo, the Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, who is, we would call it Member of Parliament. I hear you saying area representative. So area representative and minister. And I would say a very blessed area representative to have this big, blue, beautiful gift and blessing here. I know that it will touch so many of your constituents. Deputy Prime Minister, other members of Cabinet, especially acknowledging my good friend from law school, the Honorable Sabato Caesar, who has asked me kindly to stick to the script and not give you any stories from Cave Hill, and I will do so. But I'm very proud to see him here. I must tell you, you have always distinguished yourself as someone who represents the people. CEO of Rainforest Caribbean, Mr. Jardim, Brian, and all of your family members, your wife and sons, and all of the team that is here. My team from the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries in Jamaica. Dr. Watson, sorry. Again, I know that Brian gets that. Dr. Bellaby as well. I'm going to behave myself. I'm on foreign ground. I must behave myself. And all of the executives here, particularly those spending their time and energy and effort here, Sir Seymour and others. All of the special invited guests. I've taken the time to go through the salutations because it's my first time on the beautiful island, but it will not be my last for sure. I am a proud Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries from Jamaica, because today, as we officially open the Caribbean Seafood Processing Plant, I'm reminded, Prime Minister, that we really are all here to serve. We are here to serve our people. And Ms. Silvera of the Money Clan, Silvera, Prime Minister says, today I think that the Rainforest team has truly been able to present to the Caribbean the representation of serving up excellence. We are serving up opportunity. What I saw a while ago, Ben, when we toured, is so many young, energetic sparks of potential that have now been tapped into. Employment generation, income generation, opportunity being unlocked. Because an idea in 2016 was nurtured, it was supported by the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries and the government, and with determination to navigate even the roughest seas in a 10-foot canoe, we have been able to show that we can, if we work together and collaborate and coordinate, we can unlock potential and make those ideas into realities. So I want to acknowledge all the hard work done. And I tell you, Rainforest, it has been a strategic decision to expand the operations into agro-processing, and it is one that I welcome. I am proud of the hard work of our Jamaican company, our Caribbean company, for us to be able to present the excellence that has been expanded from one product to the next. I had the opportunity, Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, to tour the factory in Jamaica. And I was very happy when I was able to leave there with a nice packet of some of the several products from Rainforest and present them to my wife and say to her, this is the excellent range of products that Rainforest has, not just for Jamaica. But imagine when I go back home and I can say to her that you not only will be able to look forward to purchasing Rainforest in Jamaica, but when you get the invitation from Karen to come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you will be able to have the same wonderful products on the shelves here. And when you go to Belize, you'll have the same wonderful products there, and Barbados, and Grenada. And I dare say that I must challenge Brian and his 3 brilliant sons to look towards the world, because I think that this Rainforest Caribbean and the products that we have and that we are commending are of the level of excellence that they can exceed what we have anywhere in the world and compete with any product from Europe, China, Japan, Australia, Canada. I want to commend the efforts and the vision that's been demonstrated in diversifying this company's business. I want to just say that Rainforest has certainly distinguished itself as a world-class operation in Jamaica, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And it is for me to say how proud I am. And that is why the government of Jamaica has taken the time to ensure that I am here, to give our support to this company, to give our support to acknowledge the unity in the Caribbean, to give our support to acknowledge the effort to bring excellence to all of our sister countries. I salute the board of the Stellar Company for identifying the market needs. I salute the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries and the government here for the support that you have given. And I want to just close by just saying to all who will be employed here, I believe it is more than 150, correct? More than 150 employment opportunities, and perhaps even more when you think about the multiplier impact and effect on the several artisanal fishers and others who will receive opportunity now to send their products here. I say to you, protect this company. I say to you, when you drive past and you see this beautiful building, consider it yours. Embrace it. Keep it here for a lifetime. Ensure that you invest in it as it has invested in this soil. And make sure that the goals that we have for CARICOM in terms of reducing the import and maximizing our assets are reflected in everything that we do here. I want to see transformation. I want to see, Prime Minister, that as a collective, we are able to feed our people, to advance food security, and that we are able to achieve food security, employment generation, income generation, and do all of that with sustainability and resilience at the forefront. And I think that what we have here is a stellar example. And so, again, my ministry will be supporting and advocating, and not just in terms of the fisheries sector, but Minister, I know that I'm almost afraid to say it, but you have been asking for Jamaican semen, cattle semen. And I want to assure you that we will be supporting and we will be coordinating. And I don't want to, Prime Minister, your son has not been behaving from morning. But I'm very happy to be here. I'm glad that I took the trip. We had to make a decision to come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I'm proud that we did so. And I must tell you, this is a strategic partnership between the private sector, the public sector, and the people. I started off saying that we are here to serve the people, and I think that the Rainforest team is doing just that. Thank you to you. Continue to do your good work. And from us in Jamaica, from us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, from us in CARICOM, we will do what we can to protect you and to embrace you and to promote you. One love.
This is the grand opening of the Rainforest Seafood Facility here in the town of Calicoa.
Yes.
It's a grand event, an epic
momentous
event.
occasion, we call it. We welcome you wherever you are, broadcasting live from Calicoa, as we just mentioned, and we're coming your way on the channels 114, 116, across the various platforms of VC3 Television, the National Broadcasting Corporation, and the Agency for Public Information. All three social media platforms are active and live right now, and we're seeing your comments, and we thank you wherever you are. Just let us know where you're viewing from so that we can make sure a little later on we can recognize your presence with us. And of course, quite an occasion. The clouds are around, it's overcast, a few droplets every now and then, a few showers, but there's no rain.
Rainforest without rain.
Right. There's no rainforest without rain. So what is a rainforest without rain?
We are hearing in the background the eloquent Mistress of Ceremonies, NBC's Dion John, just announcing that she's moving to Calicoa.
And talk about rain. We're going to be raining pan music again.
That's right.
Yes.
More of Epic Steel Orchestra.
Well, stay with us. We continue with our coverage.
song which speaks to the resilience.
That's right, epic sounds, steel orchestra, and epic music, epic pan music. That's what we're experiencing here at the Calico, town of Calico, I should say. I almost said Calico playing field, but that's right nearby. But yes, and we are glad that you can join us on this wet, overcast afternoon on a Friday. It's a Friday. It's the end of the week.
Maybe perfect conditions in some respects because it's nice and cool.
It's nice and cool.
And it's Rainforest. It's a Rainforest event. It's a grand opening of the Rainforest. Big Blue, they call it.
Big Blue.
So this building.
The Big Blue building as you
Blue.
enter Calico. You can't miss it.
I love the appeal by the Jamaican Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Parnell Charles Jr., to own the facility, own what Rainforest is doing here, in the best interest of not just St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where food security is concerned, but the wider Caribbean.
Yes, and we heard during one of the presentations that it's sometimes well over 100 individuals are employed here. There are peak times when things are necessary. It's necessary to employ additional staff. So 90, we said 90, that's the figure we had before this ceremony. And now we're learning from time to time it goes well beyond that. So a tremendous opportunity for Vincentians to gain employment, you know, to be involved in this production, to be exposed to the international market, and possibly get exposure to, you know, opportunities in other operations of Rainforest.
That's right. A very important story came out, I think, from Brian Jardine, the CEO of Rainforest, where he said that this started in 2016 on a small boat, Tiger's Pirogue.
What a journey that was.
What a journey that must have been, on some probably choppy waters in the Grenadines. But clearly, from humble beginnings to the Big Blue, it's a significant achievement, not just for Rainforest, but for the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Our Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, etc., will be addressing now here at Calico. And you hear the response from the epic steel sound, welcoming him to the podium. So we continue with the program.
Yes. Good afternoon. There's a very long protocol list in front of me here, and I wouldn't want to detain us all in this weather by reciting it again. I'd like to recognize, of course, Her Excellency, the Governor General, our Prime Minister, ministers, members of Cabinet, our brother Parnell Charles from Jamaica, brother minister, and of course all of you. Welcome to the grand opening of Rainforest Seafoods. Of course, if your first name is Rain, you can't complain about the weather. So I think this is even also a celebration of Rainforest. We're recreating the Rainforest environment here. I want to also thank and recognize the world's most dynamic steel orchestra, Epic Sounds, who for the first time placed third in the panorama, and we know it should have been at least second, but we're going to take the third for now. Who practice right across the street. And I showed a video to Ben when they were practicing. Remember when I was in the panyard the last time? I sent them a video of the Rainforest light shining through their panyard, and I said, anything all you do, you have to have Epic Steel Orchestra here. And so that is now law here at Rainforest Seafoods, just as it is law that before I speak, Epic Steel Orchestra has to play immediately before I speak. It's sort of an introduction to any speech that I make. This is a wonderful and historic occasion that we're celebrating here today. Very often when we talk about investment, we talk about foreign direct investment, and we use the word foreign almost always to mean something outside of the Caribbean. Foreign direct investment means Miami or London or somewhere in South America. But what we have learned in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is that the best foreign direct investment is from the region, which is why we have a hotel being built in Bookament with Jamaican owners. We have relationships that we are building with Jamaican financiers. And we have here in the heart of Calico, Rainforest Seafoods from right up the road in Jamaica. Again, all foreign direct investment, but from the region. So we don't have to explain to anybody Caribbean culture. We don't have to explain to anybody what it takes to get something built, to work with contractors, to work with planning authorities, to understand the reality of Caribbean life, because the investor is foreign to St. Vincent, but is part of our Caribbean civilization. And we're welcoming them here today and very glad to have them. Remember, those of you from Calico, and I see the former representative, Mr. Borgin here, he will know, and I see the members of the Coast Guard here, that a few short years ago, this was an empty lot. And the only thing in this lot, right about where I stand here, was a trash bin where people would throw garbage. And down at the bottom were some derelict boats that the Coast Guard would seize from time to time from some entrepreneurial exporters of products. And all we would get, and all I would get, and all Clayton would get as a representative about this area were complaints. The garbage is overflowing. There are rats running out of the garbage. The old boats are collecting water and there are mosquitoes. And it was an area that you would turn your head when you drove past. You didn't want to look at this empty lot when you were driving through Calico. Today, we have a $10 million, 25,000 square foot state-of-the-art entity hiring 80 to 100 people from this same community and generating wealth for the people of East St. George and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What a transformation a few years makes. And I want to talk a little bit briefly about fish and about the growth areas in seafood in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In 2012, this is now with my Minister of Finance hat on. In 2012 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we landed $8.9 million worth of fish. This is EC dollars. And by 2020, so from 2012 to 2020, we had landed $21.5 million worth of fish. That's before Rainforest got here. But it was showing a trajectory for the growth of fish and fisheries and seafood in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because it's not many industries that I could brag about as a Minister of Finance or that Saboto could brag about as a Minister of Agriculture. To say that between 2012 and 2020, you've grown 125%. You've more than doubled. But seafood is one of those areas. And this facility, they say 6 months, but really they've been fully up, well, they're still not fully operational, but they've been going strong for about 4 months. At this facility, they have purchased seafood from 150 local fishers. And in those 4 to 6 months, they've already given to paid to those local fishers over 3 million EC dollars. Do the math. 150 fishers. Put that into $3 million. You get about $20,000 per fisherman. And if you divide it by about the 4 months, this is obviously on average, you're talking about $5,000 a fisherman in the last 4 months. That is an incredible contribution to fisheries and the growth of the sector here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we have 80 to 100 people working inside. I spoke to them. They're happy, they're well trained, and they're well paid for the work that they're doing. You have 150 fishers. You have $3 million already spent in the community, the fishing community. And that fishing community runs from Union Island all the way up to Oya. You have conch being processed, lobster being processed, ballyhoo being processed, snapper being processed, tuna being processed, and they're just getting started. The contract that we signed with Rainforest Seafood says that they plan to put into the hands of local fishers not $3 million, but $20 million annually. Imagine the wealth that that will create for fisher folk all across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What we're doing with this $3 million so far is scratching the surface. We have, for a very long time, had a tradition of fishing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that you would charitably call artisanal fishing. Fisherman or fisherwoman gets in their boat, their pirogue in the morning, they gas up, they go out, they catch some fish, they try to get back home to get into the fish market before people are heading home. So they're out for a couple hours, and they catch enough fish to pay for their gas for the day, to get a little something for their family, and to make a couple dollars on top of that. What the demand created by Rainforest Seafood is going to do is catapult fishing from an artisanal profession to an absolute money earner for fishers all around St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because now we have a level of demand that we've never had before in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I said between 2012 and 2020, you went from $8.9 million to $21 million. But I also said that Rainforest by itself wants to buy $20 million worth of fish a year. So I went from 8.9 to 20, and Rainforest now wants to add another 20 on top of that 20. That is a doubling again of the fish production here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we have the fish in our waters, and we have the talented fisher folk. All we need now is to build capacity. The government has been doing a lot of work to build capacity to meet the demand created by entities like Rainforest Seafood. So the government has, for example, under Minister Caesar, repaired and enhanced the Calico fish market. The government, as Minister Caesar mentioned, has partnered with the Kingstown Cooperative Credit Union to ensure that fishers who want to expand their fleet will have low-interest loans without having to put down a deposit to expand their fleet, to get another engine, to build a bigger boat. Prime Minister Gonzalez has partnered with the government of Venezuela, with the Alba Bank, for a substantial loan through which the government will purchase commercial fishing vessels to train Vincentian fishers how to fish in a commercial context, how to stay out on the water for 2 or 3 days, how to take care of tuna and snapper and store it and freeze it properly, and of course, how to sell it and make a good profit selling it to fish processors like Rainforest Seafood. It's all part of an ecosystem that begins first with demand, and we have the demand from Rainforest, and then is followed by capacity building. And that capacity building means more and more local Vincentians making more and more money from selling fish in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the good thing about fish, you know, is that it is far more inflation-proof than agriculture. Because yes, the price of your gas goes up, but you don't have to pay for more fertilizer. You don't have to feed it. The fish is in the water. The fish isn't jumping into your fish pot differently because inflation is 9% or because gas costs $190. It's still going to jump into your fish pot, and you're still going to get a good price for it here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In addition to creating demand, you're going to create more fisher folk. And creating more fisher folk means greater training and greater efforts by the government to make sure that those fisher folk are healthy and safe and doing a good job. And that's why today I'm pleased to announce that the Cabinet has approved the purchase of a hyperbaric chamber for all of those fishers who are diving conch in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that I received yesterday from the Chief Medical Officer the final specifications for a containerized hyperbaric chamber. It takes a little while to build out, but with the Cabinet's approval and with the specifications now in hand, I can promise the conch fishers of Union Island, of Canouan, of Bequia, and indeed of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that you will be able to dive more safely in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the government will be your partner in this effort to help you build wealth. Rainforest Seafood is now anchoring a very important commercial, industrial, retail strip here in the constituency of East St. George. If you go up the road from this facility, you will pass, well, once you pass Epic, which now has a nice new little panyard extension, it looks good. You will pass a new temporary parliament that's being built that will have the next budget debate of this country in that temporary parliament. You'll go up the road, you'll pass distributors of foodstuff and other commercial products. You will pass major retailers. You will go around the corner to pass the first prime market for young entrepreneurs who use their own ingenuity and are given a space by the government to sell and produce their products and sell them. And then you'll come around to the community college and back here to Rainforest. And in that circle, you will not find a more dynamic and growing commercial, industrial, and retail strip anywhere in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that's before you talk about the hotel being built on the hill over there, the hotel being built around the corner, and all the other very important investments that make East St. George the best place to live and work and grow and raise a family anywhere in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are today not just opening a business or opening a building. We are opening a new set of opportunities to create wealth and grow the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We the government, could not do what Rainforest Seafood has done here in Calicut today. We don't have the capacity to build it. We don't have the knowledge. We don't have the resources. We don't have the contacts with overseas markets. It took the greatest seafood processor anywhere in the Caribbean and the largest to come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and build this. But now it represents opportunity. It represents opportunity for the people who work in here, the talented Vincentians working here. It represents opportunity for the fishers who currently fish and the future fishers who are already buying boats and building capacity. And it represents a real opportunity for growth and wealth creation for the families of East St. George, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and our national economy. I want to thank Rainforest Seafood from the bottom of my heart for taking that pirogue ride with Sabutu, for touring. Where's Chet? Is Chet here? When Chet and I walked on this beach together with Brian, and we were trying to say, no man, the ground is not waterlogged. Don't worry, you can build something here. Turns out that it was a little more waterlogged than we thought, and they had to build up. But thank you for coming here, for investing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, for believing in the talent of our fisherfolk, for believing in the talent of our workers, and for creating wealth and opportunity for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I could not be happier to be here today, and I could not be happier to welcome Rainforest Seafood to Calicut. Thank you very much, and let's enjoy this night.
Thank you very much, Minister Gonsalves. Wednesday, April 10th, 2019 is a historic day in the lives of Rainforest Caribbean and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's when the formal instruments were put in place for the signing agreement between Rainforest Seafood CEO Brian Jardim and Prime Minister Gonsalves at the Argyle International Airport. I think we should clap for that. Prime Minister Gonsalves, through his government's policy, has put in place the infrastructure to attract overseas investments, such as Rainforest Caribbean, which we're all gathered here today to celebrate, and for the grand opening. Ladies and gentlemen, he's described as a historian. He's the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and he's well loved not only in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we've heard that Jamaica loves him very much. And what a fitting time to bring him to speak to us and to do today's keynote address. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Ralph E. Gonsalves.
Madam Chairperson, Your Excellency the Governor General, Cabinet and parliamentary colleagues, the Honorable, Her Excellency the diplomatic representative, non-consular of Jamaica to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. She's right here, lovely Jamaican lady. Maureen, the wife of Pastor Sonny who came here, Bishop Sonny Williams, who came here and gave the opening prayer. As they say, Jamaican women love St. Vincent man. I think Maureen will agree with that. She's shaking her head. And so too with our dear Bishop. And Brian and the entire team from Rainforest Seafoods and all who have come from Jamaica to be here with us today. And I have to greet very specially young Parnell Charles. I knew him since he was a little boy growing up. I knew his father very well. And I'm happy to see him following in his father's footsteps. Now, there have been all very good speeches delivered thus far. And I agree with everything that has been said. And I've adopted everything that has been said as my own, and therefore I should just sit down. But I believe that I should try and add a little value. Now, what we see here is CARICOM in action. You know we are in the Caribbean. If something is doing pretty okay and is not perfect, we are always very hypercritical because we want to make perfection the enemy of the good. It's like Liat, and when it's gone, you beg, bring it back now. Oh, Heavenly Father, That's how we stop in the Caribbean. You know, that's how we stop. Since 1973, when CARICOM was established, and more particularly since 2001, when we signed the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, we have seen tremendous progress. And just by the way, I am the only person in government as Prime Minister or any head of government, head of state, who is a signatory to the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. This man you see here, that's how long I've been around. You know, it's like you're coming like the patriarch now, no. What are you going to do? Longevity has its benefits. Has some downsides, but it has its benefits. Now, you see, you see your minds, you're gone somewhere where I wasn't going. I know my Jamaican brothers and sisters. Now, CARICOM is based on 4 fundamental pillars. Number 1, economic integration in all its dimensions. Secondly, functional cooperation in the areas such as health and education. Thirdly, the coordination of foreign policy. And fourthly, the coordination of our security. I want to talk really as to how this fits in with economic integration. In order for the economic integration to work, we have to make sure that the strengths and weaknesses of each of the respective units or countries, that those strengths and weaknesses are dissolved into the whole, into the integrated whole, so that at the end of the day, the whole is more than a summation of the individual parts. And that is what we are having here. We got the fish, we got the conch, we got the lobster, we got the sea cucumber, but we need the capital, we need the technology, we need the marketing, and we need the skill sets which we do not ourselves as yet possess, to bring together, to have this as a dimension, an aspect of the fishing industry, so that we can all do better than we did before. The fishermen who sell here, they would not have had this avenue to sell. And what happens is this: the greater the demand, the more money they're going to get for their product. And the persons who are working here in this plant, they would not have been otherwise employed. And the technology has come, the marketing is there, and their skill sets which were not available here are brought. And we have something from which all of us will benefit. If anybody were to say to you that Rainforest is making money, well, I will say to you, why you think they come? You think they're philanthropists? Huh? You think they enter some monastery and take the vows of poverty? That they come and come spend all the time. Ride boat with Sabi, say the Our Father prayer, pass the water, down in the southern Grenadines. They are here to make a return on their investment. And we must not begrudge them that. Similarly, the fishermen have to make $1, and the workers have to make a good $1. And the spin-off effects in the community and otherwise, so we have a win-win for everybody. And from what I observe, I don't see anybody exploiting anybody, because when they come and they invest $10 million, it's a risk. And they would not come and invest it, however, because they are hard-headed businessmen and women, if they didn't figure out that they could make a return on their investment. And we all have to be very mature and understanding of all of these things, and be fair and reasonable with one another. And once we do that, this thing is going to prosper. And we are already seeing in the first 4 months the great possibilities. Now, where does this fit in overall with what we are doing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? We are in the quest of building a modern, competitive, many-sided, post-colonial economy, which is at once local, national, regional, and global. And each of those words means something. This economy, this post-colonial economy, this modern, competitive, post-colonial economy which we are seeking to build, is different from the old colonial or amended colonial economy. The old colonial or the amended colonial economy was based on, among other things, an unlimited supply of unskilled and cheap labor. And the production was either subsidized locally or in the marketplace, like bananas and sugar. But the subsidies are no more, and the preferences are not there anymore. After the leprosy of colonialism don't squeeze the orange dry, they leave you. They take away the preferences. So you have to figure out what you have to do. So what do you have to do? You have to build this modern, competitive, post-colonial economy. And that must have many sides. It must be diversified. So that when Rainforest gives the man, the fisherman, his price for his conch or lobster. He is selling it overseas. He's not asking for any preferences overseas, you know. All he wants is a level playing field overseas. And he has a good commodity, well packaged, high quality. He is going to make a good dollar. You ain't got to go and negotiate and beg anybody to give banana or sugar preferences. The market, the real market, is deciding. So that when they send the lobster from here and they catch it, when they send it Miami and it's transferred from Miami and it reach Hong Kong or Singapore, within 24, 36 hours, when they catch it here, it's on somebody's table down there in a restaurant. That is what the modern, competitive, many-sided economy is about. And this modern economy has as an essential feature an unlimited supply of skilled labor priced at a particular level in the International Division of Labor. And they're smart enough here at Rainforest Seafood, because I asked them about it, that they give incentive money for their workers in there to produce more. And they have the skill in filleting the fish. That is a skill, you know. That is what we are talking about. Up on the hill, there is a $70 million US hotel which is being built, and villas, just up there. Same principles, same ideas. That's American investment. Down the road on the western side of the island at Bucament, there's another Jamaican company there named Sandals. Next year, December, they'll be opening a 350-room beaches resort down there. That's also CARICOM. That's also part of a modern, competitive, many-sided, post-colonial economy. You know, those people who wring their hand and asking for people to do favors. If you want to do me a favor, you do me a favor. All I want you to do is to give me the rules which are fair, which are reasonable, and I work within that. When I want to struggle with you with something else, like for instance, that I want reparations for native genocide and African slavery, that's a different question, but that is also a demand of a political, legal nature, which complements the building of the modern, many-sided, competitive post-colonial economy. Unless you have a vision, unless you have a framework, the thing can't work. And in building the skills in this modern period, my government, our government, wants to partner with Rainforest Seafood to develop our skills further in the fishing area. And I want to partner with Sandals University to develop further the skill sets in the hospitality industry, to work with our community college. That is how we have to do the work. And I tell you, we're spending a whole set of money on education and training. And we are on target for 2030, the year 2030, 8 years from now, that we will have, on an average, 1 college or university graduate in every household in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And not too long from now, you'll hear some announcements which I will make in that regard. And that is why we also have to build the international airport. We had to build a jet airport down in Keynote. We are the only government ever to build, I ain't talking in St. Vincent but elsewhere, to build an international airport and to build a jet airport at 2 different locations within our own country. And we did it. And we did it without money. But we did it with brains. We did it with brains and we did it with planning. And right now, we are building a $630 million EC port. It starts. Modern port. 230 million US dollars. The Caribbean Development Bank loaned us 110 million US, the largest single loan that they ever gave to any project in 50 years of its existence. Something must be going right in Nazareth. Something must be going right in Nazareth. And as I said that, the rain has started to come. We have gone through a lot. COVID, the volcano, Hurricane Elsa last year, then a drought, then all these rising prices, given the vagaries of monopoly capitalism and the war in Ukraine. And we are building back better and stronger because in the valley where we were preparing in that valley to come out and climb to the mountaintop. And we are building back better and we're building back stronger. And Rainforest helping us to do that. And I thank you very much. But it's not just building back better and stronger. We have to do something very existential. And I tell the people of our country this all the time. We have to do something called, we have to respair, R-E-S-P-A-I-R. That means fresh hope. We have to embrace fresh hope. After a period of dislocation, of convulsions, of even despair. And in respairing, we have to look into ourselves individually and collectively and draw out from us what is the best in us for our individual selves, our families, and our country. And in repairing, we need epic steel band. We need Bishop Sonny Williams. We need Fireman Hooper and Skinny Fabulous. We need the young ladies who play in the netball and those who play in the cricket and the football. And those who are painting and those who are writing poetry and novels, those who are excelling in all the fields of arts and culture. Because and in matters of the spirit, because they touch our soul. They touch our existential being. You know, I have heard a lot of lamentations. I am not a man of lamentations. Our people are not people of lamentations. Morning by morning, new mercies we see. All that we need, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness. Those who say we have across this region a crisis, I say no. We have challenges, we have extreme difficulties, not a crisis. A crisis is a condition where the principals know not what it is. I am one of the principals. Once you know the extent of the condition and you have clear ideas as to how you come out of that condition, it is not a crisis. It is only a crisis when you don't know where happened and you just spin up in a mud. But if you know and understand the extant situation and you have clear ideas as to how to go forward, it's not a crisis. It's dealing with difficulties, it's dealing with challenges. How can we call ourselves Christians and think there is no redemption? And we have to be redeemed in life, in living, and in production. And when I pass here and when I see Sabi and Camilo dealing with Rainforest, and when they ask me questions and I give the benediction like the patriarch, give the benediction, I say, yes, go forth. This thing gives me great joy and gives me great happiness. Thank you very much, Rainforest Seafood, and thank all who made this possible, and thank Almighty God for all his blessings to a grateful people. Thank you. We are now open officially for business.
An overjoyed Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves,
Yes.
and a short speech. Given the circumstances, of course, it's still raining here at Calico. It's raining investment.
Everywhere,
it's raining Rainforest Seafoods. It's really been a joyful moment, and the weather, the inclement weather, didn't dampen this grand opening of Rainforest Seafood. They refer to the structure as the Big Blue, Colville.
Big Blue, yes, yes. And you can't miss it. As you come into Calico, it's the first thing that you actually see, whichever direction you're driving. We're having now the vote of thanks, and then we'll go into the ribbon cutting, which will bring the curtains down on this portion of the event. The other portion is purely for entertainment purposes.
Yes.
So we'll conclude. Expect that there's a special surprise a little later on, but we'll talk all about that. We're having the vote of thanks now. But just to recap some of the things that we mentioned, the fact that Rainforest Seafood is not just present in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but in some other regional islands.
Yes,
We mentioned
four other Caribbean islands, Jamaica,
islands.
Belize,
Yes.
St. Lucia, Barbados.
And their headquarters is in Jamaica.
That's right.
Hence the reason why the CEO is here today and his team. 250,000 pounds of cold storage at this facility.
Yes, it's a
Blast
$10 million
freezers,
facility. They've invested $10 million in
Yes,
this facility.
10 million
EC dollars.
Yes.
Yep.
And there's also state-of-the-art equipment for retail packaging as well. So when the products leave here, they pretty much are ready to go on the shelf.
That's right.
They're ready
And they
to go.
export to some 30 countries across the world. And this Calico facility will add to their the export of product to different parts of the world, their different markets.
Yes, and our exposure now to the region and the rest of the world via
the Vinci brand.
Vinci brand, caught in Vinci waters, we can say, because it's a seafood. It's not physically grown, but it's caught in our waters.
Yes.
But nevertheless, it represents the hard work of our Vincentian fisher folk, because they toil, days on end.
That's right.
We've had
some very important announcements tonight. One came from the Minister of Finance, where he disclosed that Cabinet, that is the Minister of Finance and area representative for where we are, East St. George, Honorable Camilo Gonsalves, he says Cabinet has approved the purchase of a hyperbaric chamber. This will make it easier for divers. We know we've had incidents where divers caught the bends diving and coming up too soon, and they had to go to Grenada to seek medical attention. No longer the case. In the meantime, of course, the traffic continues to flow through here, so please bear with us. Very important announcement by the Minister of Finance with respect to that, and I'm sure fishers, divers in particular, are pleased to hear that.
And the Prime Minister also made the connection in his speech, in his keynote address, as to how it all comes together and meshes as one Vincentian, not just a Vincentian product, but for the benefit of all Vincentians.
That's right.
Those who live in this area, those who are employed by directly, that is, by
and even beyond
organization.
And even beyond St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the point he made about CARICOM in action, Rainforest Seafoods representing CARICOM in action, is a very important point. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, strategically again, at the center of regional integration and cooperation.
Indeed. And just to note, as we get ready to conclude the ceremonial aspect of the proceedings, that we'll be having a ribbon cutting ceremony that will take place right after we're finished with the stage activities, right next to the building, the Big Blue building. You can't miss it. Big Blue, as we now call it. We heard the CEO call it Big Blue, so we'll refer to it as Big Blue. And I see the photographers and the videographers, they're all lining up to get their prime shots. And we'll, of course, have the visuals for you. There you can see a shot for those viewing. A pretty interesting setup. When we arrived here, we looked at the setup and we said, we're wondering why
there's some creativity there. Yes, you notice the slant of the walkway to the
on
back
both
of
sides.
The facility.
It's a pretty interesting setup, and Rainforest likes to make sure they go above and beyond in doing what they do, and this is no different. A very well branded facility. We now, when we came here this afternoon, we didn't see all of the brands just yet, but as we were here, we saw additional branding being brought in, the stickers,
so while it's just seafood, they've certainly included creativity in the way they market, in the way they brand, in the way they manage their facility. A particular point that was mentioned by Prime Minister Gonsalves that speaks to their adaptability and flexibility as well is the idea that the company will offer incentives to workers here at this Big Blue in Caliacua to motivate the staff to produce more.
Yes.
So the more you produce, the more you're likely to take away in your pocket at the end of the month or the end of the fortnight, whatever that may be.
And that works as an encouragement, for those to be even more productive than they are in what they do here at Rainforest.
Yes.
But I think in the back now we're seeing the members of the head table getting out of their seats, and the next place they'll head is to the ribbon, where we'll have the ribbon cutting, and then the party will move to the back where there'll be some of the events taking place behind there well into the evening, I suspect, because this is a celebration.
It is.
We were told there's a very special treat in store. Hopefully the rain hasn't impacted on that plan, because what it is set up for is quite a surprise.
Well, I get the feeling that there might be some fireworks at play.
Yes, I didn't want to say it, but you just said it. But yes, we were told that there will be some fireworks this evening as the sun sets.
It's consistent with the grand launch, the grand opening of this Big Blue facility here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to certainly advance the blue economy and provide another economic pillar for the growth and expansion of the Vincentian economy.
So you see the Prime Minister, for the benefit of those who are listening, the Prime Minister is just standing where the ribbon is placed at the side of the building. He's been joined by the Minister of Agriculture for Jamaica, who's present at the ceremony and spoke earlier.
Cornell Charles Jr.
And the CEO has a very big pair of scissors, and not as I've seen some bigger pairs.
Brian Jardim.
And the moment the cutting of the ribbon, they're waiting. I think they were prompted to wait for something. I think all of the photographers
adding some more
there yet.
spectacle to the
A bit more spectacle
ribbon cutting.
to it.
Yes.
But the smile is definitely there for the Prime Minister.
We should remind viewers and listeners that on hand we have a delegation of not just government officials from Jamaica, but media
yes.
officials as well.
I see
Jamaica
now
Observer and possibly others.
the ribbon cutting in progress as we speak. An epic steel orchestra in the back, which I see is being endorsed by Rainforest.
Yes, they're
carrying Rainforest branded.
literally calling it their
etc.
home. Yes,
Well, there you go. There you go. The official opening of the facility here, the cutting of the ribbon, and I think symbolically the Prime Minister likes to hand over a particular part of the ribbon to someone there. He handed it to someone a while ago, I'm not sure, as a keepsake, you know, as something to remember this event by, a momentous occasion, not just for the investors and the CEO and all of those who are present here, but also for Vincentians, the fisher folk.
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yes.
And because we know it's a big deal, I want to invite my friend Tanis to come and give us some thoughts on what this means for the
And of
the
course,
people
he's a resident of this.
That's right, of this community, this
constituency as
town,
well.
this town of Calico. He's making sure that he is well protected in the event that COVID is in the air. But Tanis, what is in the air certainly this evening is the launch of the Big Blue, the Rainforest facility. Give us your thoughts on what this means to the people of the town of Calico and surrounding areas.
First and foremost, I was impressed that the manager is a local person and from the village of Dixon. That I was very much impressed, and not a Jamaican. And also the Calico Fisheries, when I was there as the chairman of the Calico Fisher Folk Cooperative, this was something we told them about. We prepared them, we helped them in order to get better boats and also to work together so that you can have a better, you can bring a better product and be given more money for all that you do. So I just want to say that the Calico Fisher Folk, I am happy for them. I hope they are coming together. I hope they're going out there to catch the fish because there's money here for them to make.
You may have heard the CEO Jardim saying that already they've paid out over $3 million to local fishers in purchasing seafood, securing the purchase of their catch from them. Any idea what the local fishers are saying in this particular area?
From what I've been hearing, they're saying that things thus far has been good. The fish market has now been better developed so that they have more access, and the environment around the market is much cleaner so that the rainforests now know that fish coming from Calico is what they want right now.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Really appreciate that, Colville. We are hearing that it's good news for the fisher folk in this particular area, in this town.
Well, we are coming up to the end of this function here at Calico, the town of Calico, as we've been saying all afternoon. Sometimes we tend to forget, Sean, that it's a town. We tend to forget that's a town.
Yes,
yeah, it's a town. So the town of Calico, it's not a village, it's a town.
Yes.
And we just want to highlight that this massive project, a collaborative effort, it took a lot of work. We thought it started in 2019 with the signing of the agreement, but as we heard today, it started in 2016 on a tiny boat in the Grenadines.
That's right, on a pirogue.
On a pirogue. And
yes.
From there...
Tiger's pirogue, to be precise.
And Tiger's probably happy he's getting some, some plugs today. But of course, we want to say thanks to you, wherever you are, for staying with us. We know the band is going to be very busy in the back providing some entertainment. And we'll make sure that you enjoy some of the pan as well. As we take it in, you'll get to enjoy some of it. We'll be able to share with you, hopefully, the fireworks and some of the spectacular events that they have lined up. The concert, that's for those who are here, and we'll have to end things off by then. But let's take in a bit.
The viewers on 116, the viewers on 114, BC3, NBC Radio, API, thank you so much for joining us this evening, this afternoon into the evening, basically.
It's already
we really appreciate that. Yes.
It's 24 minutes to 7.
Still overcast, but it has been a lovely day for the people and the fisher folk in particular of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and certainly the investors, Rainforest Seafood, the Big Blue.
Yes, so as we get ready to close things off, at least for this time, we really want to say that we hope that you enjoy everything that we've brought your way. A special welcome to 116. We want to make sure that we plug 116.
Yes, and
API's
we're
live
working to make it a permanent platform, not only during Parliament, but 24/7 live, ongoing televised material coming through the API channel 116.
So we look forward to that as well. And today is just the start, as you said, of many more things to come.
That's right.
As it relates to 116 on your cable boxes.
And I enjoy the interaction to countrymen, you know, if I might add. And I hope our viewers enjoyed and appreciated. We sought to bring you the best coverage we could under the circumstances.
Yes, but don't go anywhere yet. We have some lovely pan music lined up for you for a bit, and we'll let you know in terms of when we'll be getting the fireworks. Of course, we have to check in after all this rain.
Yes.
We have to check in to make sure that we're still on target to share with you the spectacular visuals associated with the fireworks. But we ask that you stay with us for a bit, enjoy a bit of the pan music, and when we come back, we'll take in the fireworks and we'll wrap up. Stay with us.
Minister Caesar, it's a pleasure having you at our live table.
Yes.
We've heard some excellent speeches this evening, and from you we finally understand how this got started on a pirogue, choppy waters, Southern Grenadines. What this means for the local fishers from your perspective, based on some of the viewpoints you heard prior.
Definitely, it's a significant opportunity for the fisher folk in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to be offered the possibility of now exporting $20 million worth of fish and fish products annually from one facility is major. And I want to take us back to where we started. When we had the opening of the Argyle International Airport, the very next step that the government took and the Department of Fisheries was to advertise all the fisheries centers in Oya, in Caliqua, Barrowley, Kingstown, Union Island, in Beckway, and also in Canawan. And I want to thank all those persons who took up the opportunities. I remember many times we met in Miami,
Yes.
and we met with several investors, and they expressed a keen interest. And because of that, the name and the brand got out.
Yep.
Rainforest is definitely one of the biggest brands we have in the hemisphere,
Yes.
not only in CARICOM, definitely not only in the OECS, but in the entire Western Hemisphere. And we want to welcome them here to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I know that the fisher folk are extremely excited.
Yes.
And with the fleet expansion program that is going to take place, going to be unfolded over the next few years, persons are willing and ready to expand. Persons are going to buy bigger vessels.
Yes.
And the training component, of course, will assist the fisher folk in getting the skill sets to be able to expand production and productivity.
Earlier you said over 90 fishers have already applied to either upgrade their equipment or to get their first or new boat. That certainly is a sign of an expansion.
Definitely significant, and we're not only looking at the pirogues, but there are several persons already in Miami looking at refurbishing tuna vessels. Some persons are in Nicaragua to purchase, and I am aware that there's a company looking to set up a system here where you can actually buy new boats, walk into the shop and buy new boats.
Excellent. The blue economy.
Yes.
That pillar, that economic pillar is growing stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Starting off with some humble beginnings, from a pirogue to a big blue. And more employment opportunities, more revenue generation and so forth.
Yes. You know, sometimes...
Where do you see this going, Minister?
We have the capacity as an archipelagic state, as an archipelago of islands, with fishing in our blood, to be able to utilize what we have at the Argyle International Airport. The airlift that we have definitely would be increased and improved. With the facilities that we have now, like Rainforest Seafoods and several other landside facilities, I anticipate that more persons will be coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to invest. I want to speak directly to the young people, the youth. I want the young entrepreneurs in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You don't have to own a facility. You don't have to have a lease on a facility. But you can go online, you can meet persons, and you can begin to market these opportunities internationally.
In addition, before you go, I know we've been talking about sea cucumber and what have you that Rainforest is processing. But just recently, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, under your guidance, we've started the export of sea moss.
Yes.
And I can recall that the revenue earned from that exceeded $1 million.
So
for the first time.
5 years ago, when you look at the export and the revenue, it was about $80,000. Within 5 years, it crossed the $1 million mark. And today, we met at the Fisheries Center in Kingstown, and I want to thank the Jeff Small Grant Program and Susgren from the Grenadines. We are now expanding beyond those original areas where we had CMOS to the whole of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And in fact, persons are doing the value addition. For the first time, I saw CMOS wine. and you have all the other gels which are now being exported. The St. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is an industry, and it is part of the diversification program and plan that we have for the betterment of persons who are involved in production and productivity.
Well, it's been raining all afternoon, and certainly Rainforest.
Showers of blessings.
Yes. Rainforest, they've made a plug on bringing the weather, and certainly as we continue to expand this industry, Minister, we wish you all the best, and we look forward to more grand openings and grand developments. The hyperbaric chamber for the fisher folk, for the divers in the Grenadines is big news. The launch of this facility is big news.
Yes.
What you're doing, a lot of it, for the most part, is big news.
We're talking about over a $100 million industry in the next 5 years.
That's right.
All of us working together, lifting our game. Continue the excellent work. We have a lot of work to do.
We have a lot more work to do. We got to bring those small news into even bigger news.
On the move.
So everything can be strictly big news. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All the best. All right. Well, that's it from us here. I'll try and locate Colville so we can wrap up this broadcast. We've had some interesting conversations, and certainly we've had some excellent speeches. The material loaded with wealth generation, income generation for the investors. As Prime Minister said, they are not here simply to ply philanthropy, but they're here to earn and to make a profit from what they're doing, from their investments. And the local fisher folk, they have a guaranteed buyer of the catch, which has always been a complaint among local fishers, of course, beyond the buying capacity of our local consumers. We have now access to the world.
All right. And I think I missed the interview with Honorable Minister Caesar. I had to dodge her. It was really raining a moment ago, and I actually got a bit soaked in the process. But it's all in the fun of it and all what we're doing here. But we were told that we're not sure what time the fireworks would be. The rain is on and off for the time being, so we may not have it at 7 o'clock as we were previously told. But we need to at least end the radio end of things. We'll see how long television can stick around for during the course of the broadcast. And if television can stay with us, we will, of course, get in some of that firework. Epic Steel Orchestra is still busy in the back. But we have to say thanks to all of those individuals responsible. I don't have a long list. I don't have the list of every single one individual, but it was a joint effort. We must say kudos to the entire team at BC3, the Agency for Public Information, and the support team at NBC Radio for the work done here this afternoon, this evening. And those at Master Control, at BC3's end, at API's end, at NBC's end, we say thanks to you as well. And all of those who provided support, our General Manager, Ms. Dion John, who provided support for the broadcast as well, who's on to other duties in the back as the other segment starts there. And we do hope that we were informative. We brought you everything that you needed to know about this project. As Sean, let me thank you very much for joining me today.
The very first
in a while for you, getting back into the loop of things. And we hope that you were able to stay with us during the course of the broadcast. So we thank the radio audience for joining us. Television, if we can show you the fireworks, you wouldn't hear from us again, but you'll get to see them on your television screens. We can't make any promises, but we'll try to get that to you. Have an enjoyable rest of the Friday evening from all of us, the entire production team here at Caliacqua, the town of Caliacqua, and have a fantastic weekend as well. All the best to you and yours. And stay with the various platforms. We're glad to have you, and we hope that you stay tuned.
Thank you, Colin.